Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. So today I have another bump update to share with you guys. Today I'm officially 6 weeks and 6 days. What? Let's go ahead and talk about week number 6. So as I shared in my last video, which was our first pregnancy update, I was 5 weeks and I wasn't entirely sure exactly where I was falling within the 5-week time frame. It turns out that the day that I filmed, I was 5 weeks and 6 days. So I was almost actually 6 weeks already. And again, I'm filming like just exactly a week later, so on a Wednesday. And on this past Monday, I had my first phone appointment with our doctor. And it's basically like a phone screening. They ask you a bunch of medical questions and I think kind of get out of the way some of the information that you need to address at the first appointment. And so I did that, and the gal asked me like when my last period was, and I told her the date. And she said, okay, is that for sure, or is that like an estimate? And I said, no, I track everything like crazy, so that's the exact day. So she said, okay, perfect, you're 6 days. And at the time I was 6 days, or I'm sorry. So at the time I was 6 weeks and 4 days, which means that every Friday I turn another week. So that was kind of an interesting thing. Like I had said, I wasn't sure which date we were kind of going with. I figured there were between like 2 different days that would pretty much determine how far along I was and also what our baby's due date will be. So we actually have our first appointment coming up this Friday, so we'll be able to know exactly what our due date's going to be. They'll measure the baby and all of that good stuff. So really exciting. So I'll be 7 weeks, which I feel like is early for your first appointment. I've always heard that it's at 8 weeks before the doctor will see you, but I guess the gal was saying to me that 7 weeks is a perfect time because they can see the heartbeat and get all the information. So we're going in and we're super excited. And it's perfect because, I mean, if we waited until the 8-week mark, we'd be at like Thanksgiving, and I think we'd have to wait another like 4 or 5 days, and that would be a bummer. So I'd be almost like 9 weeks at that point. So let's go ahead and jump into the questions and share with you guys what's going on with little Bean. So I've already said how far along I am. I'm 6 weeks and 6 days today. Total weight gain, I actually haven't weighed myself again. I think that I'm either at the same or a little bit less maybe. Like I'd mentioned, I had been like eating like total junk before I knew I was pregnant, and so since that I've just really cleaned up my diet, and I've still been working out consistently, which I was doing before, but really your nutrition like totally affects, for me at least, totally affects what my body composition is. So that's huge. Maternity clothes, no, but I did order a couple of like kind of like tunic-y tops because as we get a little bit further, we're not planning to tell anyone for another 5 weeks now. And so I am thinking like if I start to grow a bump, like I want to make sure my tops are covering and like that they're kind of billowy enough that no one like suspects anything. So I ordered a couple of new things, just regular sized clothing, but that I'll be able to wear throughout my pregnancy most likely. Stretch marks, none. How are you sleeping? Actually really well. So last week in week 5, I was kind of sleeping a little bit funny, like kind of having some sleep issues. But this week I've been sleeping like a baby. But yeah, I've been falling asleep and staying asleep. It's been really nice. So I feel like things have kind of like adjusted a little bit more. I feel like last week everything was like shifting a lot, and so it was like causing my bladder to really, you know, be affected, and I would have to get up in the middle of the night to go to the restroom, and it was crazy. So I'm sleeping a lot better. Best moment this week was definitely my doctor's appointment that I had with, like, you know, the phone appointment. And it just, I feel like every time something like that happens, I feel like it's gonna make it seem more real, because before then, I mean, I was like testing every day and be like, is this real? Like, is this actually happening? Did I make this up? Like, am I imagining things? Is my body just crazy out of whack and I just didn't get my period? Like, what's going on? So I've been just really kind of, I was really excited to have that appointment and to actually like talk it through with someone and, you know, get a couple questions answered. So that's really been exciting. I am not missing anything. That's the next question. Not really missing anything. Like I said, I'm trying to eat a little bit healthier, so I'm cutting down on like just crazy like snacking and stuff like that, and just trying to eat as best I can while I feel good and as I feel good. So just in case like anything crazy does happen at some point. Any movement? No. Obviously not baby movement, but there, like I said, there's a little bit of like shifting and stuff going on, and so I can feel like a little bit of that. Food cravings. I've been craving both salty and sweet things. So I know it's typically like if you're craving salt, then you're having a girl. If you're craving sweet, then you're having a boy. But I've been craving both. Like I will want a milkshake and then the next minute I'll want mac and cheese. So I don't know what's going on. So our next question is anything making you queasy or sick? And not consistently. Although I had a moment on Sunday, I told my husband about this. I had a bunch of stuff in my car for my mom, and after church she came out to my car to get it. And as she was like passing by me to grab like one of the bags, I could smell her like coffee candy, and for whatever reason, I was like, oh my gosh, like it was crazy. It was so strong and like so intense, and I was like, oh, okay. I like totally turned around and like went the other way to kind of get away from it. But so that was kind of a shock. That was the first thing that really had me like, whoa, what is this? And the crazy thing is that I love coffee and I love coffee candy, so that was really crazy. Any gender guesses? I don't think so right now. Labor signs, no. Any symptoms? So I did write down a few things because I've had a couple of symptoms, especially today. Today I had this really kind of crazy bout of like nausea, and I haven't had that before. I think I shared that in my last like week update, but I haven't had any like morning sickness. Thank goodness. I did knock on wood. Where's some wood? Knock on my chair. But today I like felt a little something, and it was to the point where like I really had no appetite. I wasn't hungry at all. I literally didn't eat anything pretty much the entire day. I had like a smoothie and half of a like one of those like soft baked pretzels from Jamba Juice this morning, because that's really what I was craving this morning, was like a big smoothie. So I had that, and then just a lot of water and tea and stuff like that. And Ritz crackers, because that was kind of the only thing that was like kind of satisfying to me today. But it wasn't until I got to our church right before youth service that I went ahead and had like my lunch, which was chicken soup. And when I ate it, it was really good, and I was like totally fine. And so I kind of feel like I need to make sure that I'm eating like regular meals, because that will help, I think, fight off some of that nausea. I think because I didn't really eat a true meal like I normally eat in the morning, today is why I felt so bad all day, because usually I eat every couple of hours and I haven't had a problem. So I definitely need to make sure that I keep doing that. And then also I've been really tired still, so it kind of comes and goes. Like some days I'll be totally fine, which happened yesterday. I was totally fine, felt like I had like my normal energy. And then around like 8:30, I hit a wall and I was like, I have to get in bed right now. But whereas today, I was pretty much tired all day. Like I took an hour nap at lunch. Like my entire lunch break was just me sleeping in my car. And so there's just like some days where it's like I'm really exhausted. I can't like move. Like I'll get to work and sit down, and as soon as I sit down at my desk, I'm like, I could go take a nap right now and like not wake up for a long time. And there's other days where I'm just like smooth sailing and things are good. So it just kind of varies. And I think that's it. Let's see. Belly button in or out? It is still in. Wedding rings are still on. And then happy or moody most of the time. I am of course still happy. Like I said to my husband the other night, like I think my hormones really are kind of like raging in the morning time, and that's really when I'm kind of like by myself. And then after that, the only time that I really feel like kind of a hormonal like shift or whatever is at night, if I get really, really tired. So if I can tell that I'm getting sleepy, I pretty much will just like kind of go and like make my way to bed. But if I put that off, or if all of a sudden like I get really tired all of a sudden, I will start to get like a little bit snippy, and I'll just be like totally done with doing anything, and I'm like, okay, this and that, and I just get like really short. So we were talking about that the other night, and he's like, oh, I can totally tell when you get tired, because you kind of get into like that tired voice, like, okay, this has to get done right now, and like this and that. And so I was like, oh, I have to watch that. So I'm trying really hard to make sure that I'm watching like how I'm reacting, because just because I'm pregnant doesn't give me license to like be, you know, mean and totally awful to the people I love. Like that's not nice, and I want pregnancy to be a good experience for everyone, not just me. And then what are you most looking forward to? So that is kind of a little bit of a cheat because it'll be at the beginning of our 7th week, but definitely our first ultrasound is going to be so exciting. Obviously my husband's going with me, and so it'll just be the first time we talk to the doctor and get to, you know, see the heartbeat and see baby and all that good stuff. So we're super excited for that, and we're just like on pins and needles. I will say the one thing that I've been kind of anxious about is just all of the baby gear. Like, what? And I know obviously like some people go crazy. I'm not even talking about like going crazy. I'm talking about like bare necessities like a stroller and, you know, a car seat and a crib. Like just all of the options that are out there for those things. And like, do you co-sleep or do you not co-sleep? There are just so many choices to be made. And I got a little bit overwhelmed last night. I started looking at car seats and I was like, well, I thought I wanted a car seat that would be like a stroller system, but maybe I want a car seat that converts and grows with them as they get older and all of this stuff. And I am pretty much the youngest in my family. Like I have a couple of little cousins, but I never really grew up with like babies or taking care of babies, whereas my husband did. So he has a lot of experience with his nieces and nephews, and he was still like living with his family when they were all born, and so he has tons of experience with newborns, which thank goodness, you guys, because I literally have like none. And so I was just kind of telling him how I was feeling last night about that stuff and like, how do we choose a car seat, and what about a stroller, and what about this, and do we need 2 car seats because one for each car, or do we just get a base, and like on and on and on. And he's like, oh, okay, calm down, like let's look at what you're looking at. And he's like, I'll tell you the pros and cons and like my experience with them. So it's been really helpful. He's definitely always like my voice of reason and kind of talks me off of the ledge when I start to get a little bit like overwhelmed. So that's just kind of where I'm at right now, and just I'm trying to really get a handle on what choices we want to make for baby before people know that we're having a baby, because I know once people know, we're gonna get flooded and like just inundated with ideas and tips and what other people think are good ideas, and we really want to have a good solid foundation of what we want and what we want our child's life to look like. And you know, even in those first few months with those decisions, like what, you know, crib or co-sleep or, you know, sleepy head or DockATot or whatever, all that good stuff. So just getting a really good grasp on those things is really, really important for me right now. So those are all the questions for this week, you guys. Let's go ahead and take a look at the bump and see what's going on. Okay guys, so pardon my flowy shirt, but here is the bump. Alright guys, so that is my 6-week bump date. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you are expecting or trying, I am sending you all of the baby dust and prayers to have your little bundle welcoming it into your family soon. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll talk to you very soon.